have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And today I have with me Christinna Kitchaiya. I love saying your last name. I think it's so stinking fun. And I met Christinna through a networking group, but also I was just on Christinna's Facebook page. Okay, Facebook page. And we were talking about like repurposing content. So Christinna and I have collaborated on a couple of things. And so if you don't mind, share a little bit about yourself with my audience, just so we know where you are, what you're doing.
Alrighty. My name's Christinna. I am a mom and a former military spouse and an Air Force veteran. I have lived overseas for the majority of the last 10 years. Being a mom and a military spouse, you've got to be resourceful with jobs and things like that. So from teaching to MLMs to, sales, modeling, acting, I've done it all. And I've kind of settled on helping people with Instagram, social media management. Currently in Colorado, living the life. It is beautiful. Me and my kids are just at peace, just having a blast. It snowed recently.
No.
And it's May. Yeah, so that was not uncommon for this area, but a surprise to us. We're used to living in some pretty warm, humid places, places that have 4 seasons. And so, there's 4 seasons here, but they're pretty short if they're not winter. So,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful. We're right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. It is gorgeous. So, just living our best life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great that you are helping people with social media because Instagram has really gotten to be pretty important in business and in just, life in general. But if you're doing anything in the online space, Instagram is definitely a big player and a lot of people don't know what they're doing on that platform. So good on you that, you're kind of showing people the ropes. And I think that you even have like a beta 101 kind of class coming up in June. Is that right?
Yeah, in June, I decided to do a beta class, a beta course, a 101 Instagram. I don't want business owners to feel overwhelmed. There's so many different things that change and come out on these platforms. There's so much FOMO. There's so much comparison happening for your business, and you just get overwhelmed and then you end up not doing anything. So I think it's really important to share with people the basic setup, the basic how to have a presence, and then the real reason that you're on the platforms for your business. It's not followers, it's not to look better than somebody else. It really is about connection and connecting with your audience on the platforms where they are. And finding out how to enjoy also doing that. And if you don't enjoy doing that, how do we outsource this information?
Yeah.
This business and these things. So yeah, I just really want to be able to help people not feel overwhelmed, and empower them that they can do it, that it is something that can be done, but doesn't have to be stressful and awful, and they can enjoy it.
I think that's kind of where I am with Virtual You as well, is there are pieces of business that get to be overwhelming. And, I heard it said one time that people pay for either things that they want or things that they don't want to do. And so we're
Exactly.
both kind of filling one of those needs for business owners if they are in that position. So very cool. Well, let's dive in. Do you want to share what song you chose for my audience? And then, let us know. Is it the lyrics you're connecting with? Is it just a flood of memories? How does the song make you feel, Christinna?
I chose Tapestries. Oh, it's a Tapestry album by Carole King from 1971, Way Over Yonder. So my mother used to sing that to us as babies. And throughout our childhood, she would sing Carole King songs. It was just her favorite musician. And it is one of the albums, my youngest memory, my earliest memory of good music. And, we always had music in our house. My stepdad played guitar. And so we were always
Mm.
exposed to different generations and different styles of music. So music is just a really big part. And it was really hard choosing one song, honestly, from, but that song that, Carole King came up the fastest, the easiest in my brain when I was thinking about
Mm.
music and songs. And I was, there's two sides to this. There was the side that has a connection to my first really great memories with records,
Mm.
actual
Mm.
records, guys, actual, like, the round ones. My stepdad had a reel to reel, and I would go to the library in England when we were living in England, and I would get to, on my own, I think I was probably 8 or 9,
Oh
and I
my
would
goodness.
walk to the library and pick out records that I wanted to listen to on the big reel to reel, and my stepdad would record them for me so that when I returned them to the library, I still had the music. Um,
Man, you were like Napster way back in the day.
right? So it was such wonderful memories. And then, and Bryan Adams was actually really my favorite for me
Mm.
personally. That was a
Mhm.
connection for me. That young, I know it's kind of strange, but Bryan Adams was a favorite of mine. And then, but my earliest memory was Carole King and my mom singing that, and she would sing different songs of Carole's around the house, and it was just, we would always chime in and sing with her. So I think that's, you know, it shaped my, not only my taste in music, what you listen to with your parents does shape your taste in music a lot. And
Absolutely.
um, but also being military, moving from place to place, music was a way for me to ground, one, what era I was in, where I was physically, what country I was in, what state I was in. So sometimes I can't remember how old I was or what year we were in a place, but I can remember the music from that time period. And
Oh,
so,
interesting.
yeah, I'll connect my memories to music. So yeah, so my earliest was Carole King, and it had, I think, a very huge impact because of the way my mother felt about the songs.
Mm. Mhm.
The connection she had, the emotional connection that she had to the songs. And so that translated onto why we enjoyed hearing her sing them around the house.
Now, was she a good singer?
I think so. I think she did well. As she got older, the way she sang kind of changed a little bit. But yes, yeah, she was a good singer early on. My sister sings a little more professionally than I do. I'm a karaoke singer, in the closet singer. I can sing a bit, but my sister was trained. She went to
Oh, sure.
choir, and she did more of the training and studio work and things like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, she tried out for The Voice, and
Ah,
yeah, the song she chose, she didn't make it. I believe she sang a Carole King song actually, because I mean that's just one of our.
that's
It's
right.
our song. It's like our family song. And Carole King was an icon anyway. Amazing
Right.
songwriter, amazing artist. The work and the music that she sang at the time also was very different for who she was. The styling was not common, and so it was interesting to hear, her sing that way. She was very nasal, which can be a turnoff to some people, but I don't know, there was something, she made it very soulful.
There's this person I know that they have a speech impediment, but for some reason, when that person speaks, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But like if I start speaking like that, people, would be like, Tiffany, what's wrong or whatever. So same thing with music, people can get away with different styles, just like Frank Sinatra had a very different style. Michael Bublé is kind of the same thing where I don't feel like they really mesh in well to mainstream, but we just love them. We love the
Green
style.
Day.
Yes,
Green
yes.
Day, he would not have his voice without that little crack in his tooth, the separation in his tooth, and the little whistle he has. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
so true. That's so true. And Britney Spears, me and my son were actually laughing the other day, yesterday in the car. because you can hear that it's a Britney song. I've actually trained my
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And she's got, ow, and she does this, yeah, and we would just laugh through the whole song because, like, why is she doing that? But it's very, it's very signature of Britney, right? So it's her sound. I kind of trained my kids to recognize the first few notes of a song, of iconic songs, Queen,
Mhm.
Slash, like, when Santana's in a song, like, my kids know because I drill them in the car. Who's this? Do you hear that? Who is that? They can recognize rappers. I'm like, is that Snoop? Who is this? Like, you need to know which they know, and that's music has always been a way of, I want them to understand that no matter what the style of music, like, there's a reason and an emotion and what the artist is trying to tell you in a song, no matter kind of like the style. I
Yeah.
don't know about this new music, this new stuff. I haven't found the reason for it yet. And I don't know if that's because I'm 40, but some of it is just like, why? There's a bunch of sounds that ain't, this no.
Well, I think some of it is just for at the club, getting down, having a couple drinks, and you don't care what the song is.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I would agree with you. I'm a big fan of lyrics and what the story is. And, I've said in other episodes, but I just love that in a 3-minute time span, you can go from, having your baby to watching them get married to now you're passing and they're saying goodbye to you.
Yeah.
I love the story of it all and how you get wrapped up in it and everything. I'd love to touch on the lyrics just ever so slightly.
Oh yeah. Sure.
And just, oops, here we go. And just, see if anything really sticks out to you or you remember like your mom holding a note super long, or did she sing part of it differently than Carole King? What sticks out to you? Do you know?
Um, my mom was from Ohio, so she had an accent-ish, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say a Midwestern kind of thing happening. And probably the way that yonder was said.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's an odd word when you
Yes.
don't grow up with it. um, we grew up with it, so it wasn't really an odd word. But the way she said it, I think probably stuck out to me the most. And I don't know if I can do the way she did it, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when she said way over yonder, it was the way she said it. And then I listened more recently to the way that Carole says it, and she has an interesting way of saying it too. So it did stand out. And then she would belt certain parts over other parts because that was more emotional for her, and she would get kind of more of an
Sure.
attitude in there going with it.
On the chorus, away over yonder is a place I've
Let's see.
seen in a garden of wisdom from some long time ago dream. Oh yeah.
That would be gentle, but then it would be like there's a part where Carole hits it and she says, and trouble's gonna lose me. And so my mom would just like,
Oh.
and worry leave me behind. Like she would just belt it. And you could just feel that it was about, something more that, that the lyrics meant something to her.
Yeah. Did she ever say anything to you guys about it?
Just that she liked it. I mean,
Okay. There's no
um,
reason that she did. Do you know why she picked Carole King?
I think she just related to the soulness in her voice, the emotion in her voice. So my mom grew up in a household where my grandparents were um, survivors of the Great Depression,
Mm.
and she had 5 brothers.
Oh gosh.
So there wasn't a lot of emotion happening in her home. My
Mm.
grandmother was not as maybe
Maternal.
empathetic or maternal as, you would think a mom to be. And so I think she just connected, and she had a rough upbringing. She had a rough growing up time,
Mm.
and she was active duty military in the 70s, 80s.
Wow, so you come from a pretty strong military background, really.
Oh yeah, my real dad was Vietnam War. He
Wow.
flew B-2 bombers, and did a lot of different things during that time. Supposedly, those are the stories anyway. I don't know how true that is when you're talking through a bottle of gin, but um, I'm sure it's
It's like
probably true.
90%. Whatever.
Stuff happened. It was war. Who knows? So yeah, very long line of military
Yeah, that's
people.
crazy.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, I think she just connected to the soulfulness of it, and the and a lot of the music in our house was soul filled.
Mm-hmm. A lot
Uh,
of meaning.
a lot of meaning in the songs
Mm-hmm.
on my mom's side. She's a very empathetic person,
Mm.
um, which I also am.
I was gonna say, I think you are too, Christinna.
Yeah, like the words to me are everything in the song. I mean, I love the music itself, but when I connect with a song, it's usually because the words I'm relating to them at the time. Like I won't listen to music if I'm not feeling that way.
Yes. Yeah. I'm
I
the same
can't
way.
I can't do it. I don't want to listen to that right now. I'm not in that mood, right? I don't
Well, I think
feel like
sometimes Hannah gets frustrated with me because we'll be on the golf cart, and we're going to the pool and like it's like a fun, carefree day. And then she wants to put on that song, I got my driver's license today. And
oh,
she's so depressed that the boyfriend's not driving around the car with her. I'm
oh
like,
my gosh.
oh, this is so depressing. Can we put on something like upbeat, like,
And fun.
country, talking about, having a drink and having it being a sunny day? Or can we talk about, I don't know, girl, put your records on, like, can we put
Yeah.
something like fun on? So I hear you 100%. I like when the music matches the mood, except for if I'm in a bad mood, then I'm going to put something on to flip that switch and get out of my funk.
Yeah, I'm still practicing that because when my kids were born, there was something about noise,
Mm,
any noise, including music, and I stopped listening to music. I
mm,
don't know what it was. For years, I wouldn't play the radio. I would not listen to it. If it was on, it was on, but it wouldn't be like a purposeful thing.
correct.
Um,
Right.
and it took probably a good 10 years before I started like dancing in the kitchen again and turning on
Mm,
the reggaeton and turning on, the salsa music and really like getting back into enjoying myself at home. I mean, I would go to a dance club and like to dance, but as far as like bringing it back into my home, it was really hard for me. I think it was a lot more going on, and there was another reason that I did that. But when
sure.
I look back on it, my kids didn't grow up as intently with music as I did because of that.
Mm,
I still feel like my son's favorite music when he was 2 or 3 years old was actually Frank Sinatra.
ah,
He has a very old soul when it
mm-hmm,
came to music, and he loved Queen, like he would bawl his eyes
mm,
out, right? Like he
wow.
just loved those type of songs. So it was there, but
Mm-hmm,
as far as like in the home, I wanted it quiet. I
mm,
had to have silence for a long time. I'm getting back. And I think because I had shut off emotions, because I connect music to
sure.
emotion,
Yep.
right? And so if I'm shutting off my emotions, I shut off the music.
Yep. Interesting. I've
So,
never had that come up in an episode before or in an interview before, but I could see how that would be connected. And you're thinking, well, like you've shut off the emotion, but also you don't want to connect to an emotion. So you
exactly.
maybe didn't feel like you deserve to be happy, so you don't want to connect to that. And then you don't want to listen to sad music because you don't want to feel that emotion. And
Exactly.
so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When you talk through it and you start to realize, like, why did I turn the music off? Oh, I just wanted it quiet. There were babies crying. There was, but my
Mm-hmm.
son was a very quiet young man. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he still is. He's an angel. There was no crying. Now, my daughter cried for 4 years.
Yeah.
But so my excuse is that, oh, it was the kids, I wanted it quiet. But then as you talk through it, you're like, oh, I think I cut off the emotion, so I disconnected to
Mm,
music. And I love music. I love it, love it, love it. But it was so hyper triggering at the
yeah.
time that it was just too much.
I am not what you would call a graphics designer at all. But with Canva on my desktop, and I've even gotten brave enough to create on my phone, I am. I have impressed myself with the eye-catching content I have created, and I really love my podcast artwork. I love that my son and I sat on the laptop for about an hour playing with fonts, effects, and the backgrounds to collaborate the mother-son artwork of Memories with a Beat. Click on the link in the show notes to get started creating your custom content today. On that note, on with the show.
So even just listening to picking the song for this interview was very difficult. Just even thinking about the song that I wanted to pick, I was like, I'm not going to make it through this interview without bawling my eyes out because I was crying just picking the song, because I had disconnected for so long and really, even though these are happy memories, these are amazing happy memories. And so as I remind myself of how the music was a way for me to bring up happy memories from my childhood. When things were rough, I brought up happy memories through music. I closed my door, I turned on my music, right?
Yeah.
And so to remember going back to, it's just very healing to go back and say, okay, your music is not here to hurt you. This empathy that you have isn't here to hurt you. It's here to bring up the positive and to bring up those wonderful memories that you have with your family and with your mother. And remember the time that this person wasn't a jerk. Like there was a time, right? There was fun times, so that I'm thankful for. That I'm glad I dove into it, let myself feel it for a minute and be able to tell myself, feel this. This is okay. This is good. This is, you love this. But yeah, Carole King's songs give me goosebumps. It connects me to my sister. It connects me to my mom. It connects me to my childhood. And it helps me to remember who I am also as a person, as a woman, because Carole King speaks for the strength and the empowerment and the women that do and can do. And she did it all. She wrote the songs. She performed the songs. She owned the songs. She owned the emotions that were there. She did all of those things. And I feel like she definitely encompasses someone that I think my mother wanted to be outwardly. It represents, why she maybe picked that to impress upon us as kids. Somehow we need to make this part of us. And it is. It's a huge part of us.
I never thought about that though, like talking to who the artist is or the lyrics in the song and then the message that subliminally sends to your children. That could be very powerful.
It can. I mean, if you think about the lyrics to the song, we're going to go somewhere where there's peace, where there's a time where this is going to be done. This is a time where things are going to be good. It's a hopeful song. I mean, when she talks about a place where the honey runs in the rivers each day. And depending on your spirituality, you may equate that with, heaven, or you may equate that with your favorite place, your home. And so when I was listening last night, it reminded me of going back to, like I said, that place where we were happy as a family, where my favorite memories are. But it kind of has that soulful, I always want to rock when I hear it.
Yeah, it does have a really nice tempo to it.
It has a really nice vibe to it where it's just like, it's comforting. It's very comforting. And maybe that's why she sang it as well. Maybe she felt comforted by it. I know it was a lullaby for us.
Yeah.
She put us to sleep with it.
I did an episode where all the songs were songs that I had sung to my children while I was pregnant with them. And then it was also the song that as they, probably maybe up until about maybe age 3, I would sing the song to them to calm them. So while I was pregnant with them, I'd get them used to the song. And then when they would, have their fits or whatever, I would just kind of in their ear, just ever so gently sing the song, and they would slowly start to kind of calm down. And so, music can be so healing and soothing and peaceful. And I think another reason maybe why your mom liked this song is maybe she was in the mirror and she needed to remind herself that, there's a song that's in my head. Oh, a change is gonna come.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's making me think of. That's the song.
I think it's, when you're young and you hear it, you remember liking it. I don't know that I always connected all the dots.
Probably not.
But as an adult, you end up connecting them a lot more, especially when you start going through a lot of stuff in your own life. And then you're like, why do I either love this song, avoid this song,
Yep.
need this song right now? Music is so powerful.
And I
Um,
think it also sheds a little light on maybe what your mom was going through or how your mom was
yeah,
feeling, and you gain a little bit of empathy, or, whatever did go down, it almost gives you permission to forgive them for, if they let you down in some way or they let something slide that they shouldn't have, you realize that there was a lot more going on than just what happened to you.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's amazing because I think when we think about what our favorite songs are or favorite style of music, you think about the different times in your life where that music has changed too. I think,
Yeah.
like everybody goes through their kind of rock goth situation. Everybody goes, there's this rebellious age where you won't listen to the crap your parents like, but
Yeah.
but that's what you grew up on,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, this song is literally redone by the guy that we used
Yeah.
to listen to. Same song.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, just when you look back on that, you can definitely understand, I think, your parents or your siblings or
Yep.
any of
Yep.
the people that you run into by their
Yeah.
taste in music. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. And I remember people trying to get you to pick
Yeah.
like what you like. I'm like, but why do I have to why like one type of
Yeah.
music that's so weird to me? I like to
All of
listen to
them.
it all.
Well, I'm glad that music got you through, a lot of your transitions in life. I'm sorry to hear that you shut it out, but I think that's so cool that you made that connection to go, wait a minute, how can I regain the joy, the love of music, and, reevaluate how I feel about music. And I'm glad that you're starting to hear the beat again.
Oh yeah, definitely hearing the beat again. It's been a journey, but I think I can probably pull the music back out. I mean, like I said, I'm listening to the 90s music in the car all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it is definitely coming back. But this song and that album, the whole Tapestry album is like the foundation of the maternal and that matriarchal foundation of my family.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was definitely the beginning of my mom teaching us how to be strong women where she wanted us to be. Now,
Yep.
we still have a lot going on in that area to learn those lessons, but we know what our goal is, and it's
It's got a
crazy.
it's got a roadmap for you.
It's got a roadmap. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Christinna, today. And with that, that's going to be the last note of this episode. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything? Or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.